Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to program your Firelight MS5UD or 10UD series panel. Let's get started. So when you first power on a panel like this and you plug in the batteries, you'll notice that it'll say system on normal, but it won't display the date and none of your settings will be correct, no sync, no naming or anything, so you're going to want to be able to program it. So the first thing you need to do is either hit the mode or enter button. It doesn't matter which one. It's going to bring you to this screen here. So to program it, obviously you're going to hit number 2. And these numbers right here to the side are going to tell you what happens when you push these numbers is displayed to the right of the number. So if I hit 2, it's going to program it. So now it's going to ask me for a password. Now there are 2 different types of passwords, but you're going to want your level 1 password or the highest possible password so that you can access all of the programming features. So I'm going to go ahead and enter mine now. Okay, once your password's entered, it's going to bring you to this screen. And this is going to be your main programming screen. So you're going to have, a few wheels to scroll down and just a few pages of things that you can do. So the first one is input zones. And when we click on that, we can see it gives us an option for each zone. And to choose a zone, all we do is just hit a number. So I'm going to hit 2 for zone 2. And then you can change the type. You can change if it's enabled or not, and basically we'll look at that in a second. So we scroll down to edit, and we can enable or disable it. So I can disable or enable it. I can choose what type it is, a pull station, and there are some other options there as well. I can choose if it needs verification, pre-signal delay, delays, all things like that. And then that's basically what you can do with zones. And another feature I like with zones is you can also change the description. So there's all these other options too, but this is description. So I can hit 2, and I can basically use the keys to type anything there that I want to come up when when that zone is activated. So right now I have the name of the pull station, but you might want something different. So the next thing we can do is we can go to our NACs. And NACs have similar controls to zones. You can enable or disable them. These also have sync and coding options. So you can have steady, march time, different coding options, and different sync options as well down here. And then you can have silence options, automatic silence, inhibited silence, things like that for your NACs. And you're obviously just going to have less NACs than zones. That's the only difference there. Next up is relays. There are 3 relays, and the only thing you can really change here is what type of relay it is. An alarm, a treble, a supervisory are the default options, and then there are more as well. And that's basically the control you get there. When we scroll down to the next page, we can see this is system setup, and now this is one of the most important ones because it has our timers, which you can see is just, pre-signal delay, things like that, delays, and timers like that. And we also have the banner, and that's what's going to play, or that's what's going to be shown when the system is normal. Right now, I obviously have mine on the name of my channel, Fire Alarm Alerts, and then you can also just have a default factory banner, which is just going to be nothing. Or you can have a user banner, which is you get to change your text. You can also change the time and date. So obviously right now it is not 12:39 a.m. and it's not 2009, but if you wanted to change it to the time and date that it was, or change the clock format, also daylight savings time, those are all things you can do with system setup. You can also have a reminder on a treble, so if you acknowledge your treble and you want it to go back into treble after a certain amount of time to remind you, you can add that. A charger disable, is this in Canada? All things that you can do with system setup. Now there are also some options like the AND bus, which is used for an annunciator, or some other options that you can choose there, but we're not setting anything up like that up today. And then there's also history. So this is just a history of some events, or you can erase your history. So you can view all your events, view just your alarms, or just your events that are not alarms, such as troubles, supervisories, things like that. Going down from there, we have 3 final options, and next, the first one is walk test, and that is basically just going to be going around pulling all the alarms and and not having to come back to the panel to silence and reset and all that. So you can have a silent walk test where you'll just go around and pull them and reset them and then come back and the panel will tell you the results, or an audible one where if you pull it, the alarms will sound for a couple seconds and then turn off. And you can of course view the result when you're done with the 3 option. You could also clear your program. We're not going to do that now, or change your password. You're going to have to change you can change the master password, the maintenance password, and you can also change the remote download password. Now, there are 2 different programming modes. There's the master programming mode and the maintenance programming mode, and this is helpful if you have certain people that need to be able to program everything in the panel. You might give them the master password, and that's what we're using today. But if they're just people coming in to test or service your system, the maintenance programming mode only has access to things like walk test and things like that, only things that you would need when you're servicing the system and not necessarily to change anything about it. And then once we're done, we just escape out to this password screen, and from there we can either hit escape again or reset. They do the same thing. And it's going to save our configuration and reset the system, and that is going to implement all the settings. The settings are not implemented until the system is reset. Anyway, that's how you program the Firelight UD series panels, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.